I guess good for the gym, not so good for me. Usually I can take a pin from a different machine and use it as like a little attachment to add more weight. But all these pins on every machine are still attached with a little elastic doohickey. So I would have liked to do just straight bar pushdowns with like 2 plates on the side. But since I don't have access to something to throw that much weight on, I'll just do a single-sided movement. So single arm, a little more than half the stack. Really just want a lot of tension and work. Right? I mean, bust out let's quote Mr. Menser here. You know, you never know how good you'll be until you try. So let's get with it. You know, like I like stuff like that a little bit more. And as you sort of progress, I mean, this doesn't have to be weights. This could be anything. Of course, if I'm talking about something, it's going to be about weights. But as you do it more and more, and maybe you kind of realize like, okay, this is something I want to put a lot of energy into. I want to put a lot of time into this, because not only do I like the results I'm getting, but I also like the process of, you know, making that progress. Right? Like just training every day, I look forward to it. It's like my main thing, you know. I could have a totally shit day. I could have like full of exams. I'm just imagining a really busy day for me. So like tons of exams, tons of homework. I gotta go do something. I gotta replace some kind of something. I gotta clean the whatever. A full day of like just chores. Just stuff that's kind of a bother. Not really any fun, you know. But once I'm done with that main portion, you know, kind of the hassle portion, and I get my little 2-hour gap with gym, I'm like, all right, here comes the fun part. Here we go. All right, I lied. I did a feeler rep overhead. Felt just, it just felt kind of funky. So instead, move over here, do some machine dips. And with these, I've changed up my style. I used to be much more brutish with them. Like I just kind of bust out rep after rep and kind of burn out. But I've been liking legit range of motion. And what I'm talking about is like every rep, really fully extend my arms. And honestly, when I get to the bottom, I'm trying to hyperextend them. Like I'm trying to flex my triceps so hard at the bottom that I want to pull my arm backwards. 24. I'm gonna kick it up a gear. I'm gonna shift it into 7th. I'm shifting to 7th this year. I don't know, not really, man. You know, I think I just have a little bit of a disconnect from the passage of time in a way when it comes to lifting, because I kind of feel like I'm, you know, pushing it pretty hard, so I don't really care when it is. You know, I don't care Christmas, birthday. The only thing that's going to keep me out of the gym is natural disaster or sickness, the likes of which, you know, hits me hard. If in every little factor of shit outside the gym that relates to progress, you know, diet, supplementation, sleep, I guess that's really the big three, right? Whatever you can optimize, it's going to add up. And over time, even just a slight difference in, let's just say, rate of progress, you know, that's going to change and change and change and change and change. Then you're going to be up here while somebody else is going to be down here. So that's just kind of how I feel about that matter. So basic gist of what I'm trying to say: take your take your multivitamins, take your fish oil, get some sleep. The worst idea for me, but of course I do want to start getting a little bit more calories in. So I'm gonna go home, and I've got at least half of 2 pints left of vanilla ice cream. I'm sure that'll be the side dish to you know, whatever sort of ground beef or steak I end up eating. But yeesh, this is a fucking sick pump. There's nothing else to fucking say about it. Oh. So now I just get to get home and chill. Let's say you got till your mid-20s. Your brain is pretty plastic. So you have a very high capability to change your perception of what's going on. And I mean, you know, maybe make it seem a little bit easier to actually start/stick to something. Right? Getting a little rambly here, but let me try to consolidate my thoughts. another year has passed. Are you the same dude? You know, I mean, people go on. Oh, I love this quote. You know, a dude can live until 75, but he dies at 30. AKA, he's just living the same year over and over again. And if you kind of zoom that in onto a like a day by day level, then do you think you've been doing the exact same thing day after day after day for this past year? Usually I'm not a fan. Usually I want to just know what weight I'm comfortable with and jump right into it. But I wasn't really sure of my strength level after those 2 sets of flies. But I should be able to throw these 3 around for at least 8. Obviously I'm going to aim for infinite reps. That's how most of your sets should be. So I'm going to sit here, get hyped up, burn out with partials. So I may not actually rack it all the way up to the top unless I feel like it was a good set. So whatever, go hard. You know, there's no reason not to push it to failure on the Smith machine, because even if you're way down here, like, this is kind of a skill. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to someone who hasn't done this for a while, but even if I'm totally failed, I can still kind of just use my body, like kind of rotate my torso to bump the weight up just to this 1 notch above me. But best practice, get a spotter. I'm kind of questioning my own logic with the incline, right? Because I think I've got to change a couple situations up. My shoulder position while I'm pressing, / kind of just my overall style. Because what happens is, for me, when I'm doing a lot of my incline pressing, or really any kind of pressing, my front delts take over a lot. And I think it has to do with the fact that I'm kind of hunched. Just naturally, like if I'm sitting, I'm very kind of rounded over like this. So I think I gotta change some stuff up with my stretching, loosen up in my, you know, upper torso region up here, so that when I press, I can keep my shoulders nice and far back and just use my chest. I think I'm gonna get another lens for this camera, because this one only zooms in so far. And honestly, I wouldn't mind standing like another 10 feet backwards for a little better lighting. But then I'm gonna be, you know, not really in the frame. But let's just see how we're looking after that really good tricep day. Biceps was okay. So what do we think? Oh, triceps for sure. Oh man. Something about those heavy pushdowns with the extra dumbbells, that must have been the perfect amount of weight. And I really like doing those rest pause sets too. I'm gonna add that in for sure. So, you know, you do your normal set, pretty much right at failure. Then instead of just stopping, you know, take 20-ish seconds, whatever, then hit it again. But no point talking about the real technicalities of it. Let's just freaking see how we're looking. I've most certainly seen worse. Oh.